All right, kids, if everyone is special, no one is. It takes money to make money. It's weird not to be weird. These are examples of a paradox, a statement that seems self-contradictory or absurd, but in reality expresses a possible truth. And this includes any person, thing, or situation. Like me telling you about a person that I knew next to nothing about a week ago, so you can know about them, and I can go back to not acknowledging them whatsoever. Really, I don't know if that's a paradox or irony or a phenomenon. Anyways, a phenomenon that every cornbread super knows about is when black people are so great at something by way of culture, the arts, sports, and entertainment that excellence is expected, therefore is normal, or under appreciated. However, when a white person does that thing, maybe just as good, unironically, we say hooray for them, celebrate their performance. We claim that they're down, tell them that they can come to barbecues, and like I've said before, don't invite people to the cookout for doing black people stuff if they don't do stuff for black people. With that in mind, we shouldn't accept some of their invites either. Hey, there's one person in particular using hip hop and rappers to make a name for himself, and it's making others resort to not even saying his name.
What are we coming to that we're gonna sit in front of this white man? I can't even say his name. I refuse. Everybody know who he is. We sit in front of him and we just let this man say any and everything about us, and then we go right in with him. That to me is dangerous.
That was comedian and actor Monique talking about DJ Vlad like he's Voldemort or something. I have to say his name. Today we're going to talk about DJ Vlad, born Vladislav Lyubovny, who is a Ukrainian-American interviewer, journalist, and creator of VLAD and Vlad TV, a show on YouTube which has 5.8 million subscribers as of me writing this, and almost 5.5 billion views since it began in July of 2006. Well, Vlad was in the news recently. See, when America was collectively dancing to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, Vlad said that the song needed a better mix because it takes away from the song. And I mean, this reminded me of when Black Panther got its first bad review from someone named Ed Power due to T'Challa not beating up as many bad guys as he would like. Kind of seems like he was looking for demerits to give. Anyways, Harvard professor Morgan Jerkins quote tweeted Vlad and told him, "You are white. This is a black folk affair." After that, the two of them went back and forth for 11 or so more replies to one another, with Vlad tagging Princeton, her employer, in order to get her fired for what she said. And you can question why she would deny a white guy his opinion on hip hop and whether he was actually centering himself in this rap beef. But what did Vlad mean by typical victim mentality? Who is it typical for? Was he being a victim when he threatened to report her? You should know that most of Black Twitter went in on him so hard that his name was trending. So why did he really single her out? For those that are aware of who he is, you know that Vlad being problematic isn't an isolated incident. Him carrying out isn't the only reason why Monique and Professor Jerkins want to impale Vlad, and why this Twitter user blames us for him. Vlad is our fault. All these culture vultures are our fault. None of these people would get anywhere without the cosigns of black industry and cultural players with no vision beyond their own pockets. For the uninitiated, like me, you may not know if Vlad had this dragon coming, if he has a punchable face. Has he used a black accent in the past?
Check it out, baby. It's your boy DJ Vlad, the butcher, yada I mean. You over here on Video City. We show for the streets, you heard?
Crazy. How did you know? And you may be asking yourself if I'm going to pay off on that half-developed tease I left you with earlier about a paradox that may or may not be in the title of this video. Haven't decided yet. Let's figure this out together by focusing on how people respond to Vlad. So, Vlad grew up in the Bay Area and went to school at UC Berkeley, where he studied computer science. He described himself as a hip hop kid his whole life, being inspired by rappers he met on or near campus. He started out making beats, but realized that he wasn't going to be all that good at it. So, he switched to DJing, and he felt like that came natural. In his pursuit to make it big as a DJ during the early 2000s, he moved to New York at the age of 29, after he suffered a couple of setbacks and YouTube started its partner program in 2008. That's when he decided to do with video what he was doing with CDs and mixtapes. That same year though, DJ Vlad filed a $4 million lawsuit against Rick Ross over an alleged beatdown that took place at the Ozone Awards. According to MTV News, Vlad claimed that the Miami MC orchestrated a brutal attack in August of 2008. Vlad's attorney said the assault and battery lawsuit, which left Vlad looking like this, filed in federal court in New York against Ross, born William Leonard Roberts II, alleged that Rick Ross orchestrated the brutal attack in retribution for media coverage of Rick Ross's prior life as a correctional officer. DJ Vlad was awarded $300,000 in a settlement, and not that I condone violence or that he deserved it, all of that to say, Vlad seems to bring the worst out of people.
Stop thinking you know more shit about black culture than black people.
Here we go. So you're actually right. Listen.
You know your facts like you know your rhythm.
That was comedian Ari Spears telling Vlad about himself. If you've seen the entire interview like I have, then you'll know that the conversation that Spears and Vlad were having was fun and lighthearted 99% of the time. But Vlad made the mistake of telling this comic that hip-hop wasn't the #1 music genre in the 90s, and there were no #1 rap songs during that time. He was wrong, he admitted so. Rap albums went #1 also at that time. Before I continue, we've heard the term culture vulture a lot these last few weeks, haven't we? Especially when it comes to individuals who are Jewish by faith. The irony that Vlad was referring to a diss track about Drake in that tweet isn't lost on me. However, on one hand, if culture vulture is defined as a person or an organization making profit using unhonorable practices from a culture they do not care for, then I don't think it applies to Vlad. He seems to care about hip-hop. On the other hand, if culture vulture means someone who steals traits, language, and or fashion from other ethnic or social groups in order to create their own identity.
Check it out, baby. It's your boy DJ Vlad, the butcher, yada I mean. You over here on Video City. We show for the...
Either or could be both. Is it neither? No. Whatever. If someone's going to make dollars off of our culture, shouldn't he make sense? In a preview of what the VLAD TV Paradox is, here's Godfrey.
For hundreds of years, we've been the most hated. The most hated. But within that hatred comes the hypocrisy of loving our culture. You've made trillions off of our motherfucking culture. You know that. You've made money off our culture. Let's be real.
100%.
You've made money off our culture. White musicians, all of them have made money off of black culture.
You may be wondering why black artists and entertainers continue to speak to this man on camera. A year and a half ago, when Saweetie dropped a 6-track project which didn't sell well for one reason or another, Vlad said if Saweetie did a Vlad TV interview, she would have easily done 10 times her first week's sales. We actually reached out through one of our people and we were told she won't do Vlad. Her loss. Now, let's assume that he's right, and with Vlad TV's reach, Saweetie's EP could have done the numbers that Vlad claimed. That's pretty influential. And Saweetie didn't have the problem with Vlad that millions of black people do. She wanted to do his show and admitted to being a big fan, adding that no one reached out to her about the opportunity. This started a spat with Shirley Jew, a former contributor on Vlad TV, because Vlad essentially relieved her of her duties due to this thing with Saweetie, sharing that Saweetie's publicist didn't want any of their artists to work with him. Also, in a Twitter thread that included screenshots of her text conversation with Vlad, Jew said that it's a struggle when she's trying to pitch him. Then, this grown man said, amongst other things, "Cool, I don't like them either. I'll choose violence," whatever that's supposed to mean. And I'll be posting the voicemail also. I'm honestly tired of these BS publicists hating on us. I'm going on the offensive moving forward. No matter. This $10,000 going rate mentioned by Jew must be standard for most artists and entertainers because last year, Tyrese aired out the DMs between him and Vlad in a since deleted Instagram post for an appearance on Vlad TV that Tyrese turned down. And screenshots that he shared after Vlad said his name during an interview with Boosie. Your backside hurting because even after you offered me $10,000, I turned down your corny booty culture vulture show? Tyrese continued, haven't you used black people enough? What's the dude's name who talks off camera who owns Vlad TV? Can y'all pull his tax returns, he asked. How much is he leeching off of black culture, laughing about my divorce traumas, laughing about my crying video, and trying to milk traumas and pains in the clickbait for his goofy booty show? Quick recap. $10,000 in exchange for more exposure and getting to say your piece without providing facts, evidence, or proof, featuring little to no pushback from the host, whose pockets are getting lined with the money he makes from getting rappers to snitch on themselves and others, a thing they claim to hate. I'm not even going to get into the Vlad is the feds thing. It's interesting that several people, including Benny the Butcher, Asian Doll, NLE Choppa, Top Dog Entertainment President Terrence Punch Henderson, and many more, have voiced their displeasure with Vlad's popular platform. That per Complex, but no dent has been put in the world's leader in urban news. Wow. The word urban here bothers me. Once upon a time, Godfrey, Royce da 5'9", and Lord Jamar pledged to boycott Vlad TV and demanded an apology after Vlad misquoted and mischaracterized Minister Farrakhan, trying to make it seem like what the Honorable said in one passage was anti-Semitic when context was needed. More of that energy is necessary from when Vlad is seemingly anti-black, and every time the Lord Jamars and Boozies of the world are spewing anti-trans, homophobic rhetoric. But no. Probably won't get away with being anti-Semitic though, but nor should they. Y'all ain't really trying to hurt Vlad unless you make that subscriber number drop. He'll always have a voice with over 5 million subscribers. Sadly, more than half of that is black folks. Change it. Tell a friend. Same thing with Breakfast Club and any other outlet you're tired of. Speaking of, in this part of the video, I would like to be solutions oriented. I want to tell y'all to watch something other than Vlad TV for hip hop news and interviews, but come on. What's out there? The Breakfast Club, The Shade Room, No Jumper? I wouldn't know. I've only been watching in order to prepare for what I'm doing now. Spam my comment section with recommendations for black news outlets. Man, my suggested videos on YouTube are going to be wrecked for weeks. Yes, I would like us to not say Vlad's name. I would like us to boycott his YouTube show. I would like us to choose media outlets that are actually for the culture. However, there's no reason to think we would do any of that, which brings us to the VLAD TV Paradox. If we're going to continue to show up, then we need to show out. Black celebrities and entertainers have to accept invites to go on his show just to tell him about himself. That's it. Along the way, we're going to need some additional help from white people.
I think it just shows that America's a little more racist than we give it credit for. You know?
I think you're trying to step on his back to make yourself look like you're some progressive, open-minded. I love black people. I'll do everything for black. Because you could make an argument what you do is way more detrimental to black people than him saying that word.
You can say that.
Actually, I think it is.
We don't show videos
beefs.
of
We're gonna
cars
see
and whatever else. But okay.
But you can say no, but we know what time it is. You know what I mean?
Look, I know that this paradox might get Vlad just as many views and with that, more money and influence. But we've left us no choice. And to be fair, I could do compilations of the nonsense many celebrities and entertainers have presented. Andrew Schultz, whom you just saw, once said only broke people care about cultural appropriation. In a video of his, Godfrey was looking down on black Americans and tried to make it seem like saying axe instead of ask is incorrect speech. Ari Spears went out of his way in order to diss on Lizzo's size for no reason, barely considering his own. And if I wanted to, I could go in on what Lizzo has been accused of. The point is, some get it wrong sometimes, some get it right sometimes. Even Vlad. Here's a clip of him on The Breakfast Club explaining how DJ Khaled being a famous Palestinian and Drake being the most known Jewish person in the world, one who would never use a slur against Jewish people but will throw the N-word around, should use their voices and platforms to speak up about a ceasefire. He's right. Here's Vlad saying that he fully supports reparations for African Americans. This possibly in the form of a free college education thing, ain't it? But okay. Meanwhile, this bias and credibility rating has Vlad TV at left center, with factual reporting being at mixed. Vladislav may be referred to, or refer to himself, as a guest in the house of hip hop, but just in case he thinks his room is permanent or he can stay without paying bills or his dues, please tell himself about himself, because this is how he views his work.
When I got into hip hop, when I got into journalism, I was not looking up to the other hip hop outlets. You know what I mean? No offense to the Sways or the Flexes or the Angie Martinez. They're legends in what they do. But what I was looking at is 60 Minutes, 2020, like the real serious investigative journalists that really, when they sit down with someone, they're going to ask the tough questions and they're going to dig into the stories.
To his credit, Vlad often snags interviews with artists early in their careers and paints essential background information about them before they become stars. I admit that I've used his videos as research for new artists that I'm covering. Me too. But Vlad developed a horrible reputation for a reason. He often coaxes artists into incriminating themselves, admitting to alleged crimes on camera. He cashes in on new artists' worst instincts of machismo and pursuit of street credibility, and gladly boasts about the YouTube views that come with the drama. Oh yeah, Vlad apologized to Professor Jerkins after saying he never had any intention of filing a complaint to Princeton against her. Then he said, "She trolled me, I trolled back. At the end of the day, it created an interesting discussion about race relations in America." No, I'm surprised he didn't say, "Come on the show and we'll talk about it." Summer is almost here. Be wary of who you invite to cookouts and who invites you. Ask who all gonna be there. We're sending the wrong people home with plates, and if they're gonna eat off what we've made, we might as well have some and a say. And remember, you can't eat at everybody's house. We gonna be all right.
You know, the mix. I just really don't like the mix on that song. I mean, you just 2-track the SOB. You really screwed the pooch on that one, buddy. I mean, you got the whole world a listening, pal. And you don't take time to do the mix? I mean, I don't mind the lyrics, sure, you betcha. But the mix, I mean, where's the production quality? You know, Prince didn't do a great job on the mix sometimes, and look at the streams. Look at the difference in the streams on the mix. If K. Dot would have done a better job on the mix, I think he'd be up in the battle. But you know, the mix is important. Disgusting.